how I almost joined a UFO cult. Well, not exactly, but it was close. Way back when I was in middle school, I saw a flyer posted on a bulletin board for a lecture to be conducted on UFOs. And this was a lecture that was going to be conducted on the Stanford University campus, so I figured it was legit. A friend of mine named Joe Pearl and I went over and attended. And as soon as the lecturer started to speak, we realized that we had made a mistake because this guy was talking about all sorts of really kooky stuff. Looked around the room, filled mostly with Stanford students. They were all being absolutely silent and very respectful and listening to what this guy was saying. But the content matter of the lecture was so creepy that it was making me uncomfortable. I glanced over to my friend Joe Pearl and I'm like, Joe, you want to leave? And he's like, yeah, let's get out of here. Well, that kind of presented a problem. We weren't in a proper lecture hall. It was like the rec room at the International Center. And so it was a whole bunch of folding chairs set up very, very tight. There's no exit through the back. So what Joe and I had to do is stand up and kind of make our way out through this crowded environment with all these seated Stanford students trying not to step on any toes. And there was simply no way of doing this, of actually getting out of the room without people noticing that we were walking out on the lecturer. And it seemed like a rather rude thing to be doing, because who wants to draw attention to yourself when you're walking out on a lecturer only 5 or 10 minutes into the lecture? Well, it turned out that the lecturer was a man named Marshall Applewhite, and he had a cult called Heaven's Gate, which he was recruiting for. And then some years later, a number of his followers and himself all performed suicide by taking poison. They did so thinking that their souls, their spirits, whatever it was, would then join a spaceship, a flying saucer, which was trailing Comet Hale-Bopp. And it was a very sad story, but it could have been worse. But it could have been, if he had more followers, 900, like in Jonestown. Or it could have been 9,000. In any case, I realized now that there was no reason for me to be embarrassed about walking out on that lecture. I was making a statement. Silently, I was saying that this guy is full of beans. There's something else I'd like to say about all of this. You've probably been told that people fear that which they do not understand. Well, I understood Marshall Applewhite pretty well. I understand a rattlesnake pretty well, and I'm quite afraid of both of them. Thank you very much. Stay safe during this pandemic.